Hello. My name is Callista, and welcome back to When the Night Comes. In the last episode, Camille had returned to the graveyard to see if she could find anything new about the last crime scene. I follow the path and see a dark figure crouching before a neat line of gravestones. There's no danger here, not that I can feel, but I approach with caution anyway. As I draw nearer, I recognize him. It's Finn. I'm no fool, and I know he senses me here, but he doesn't flinch, keeping his gaze fixed on the dark forest that surrounds us. Give him space, no whoop. Yeah, let's fuck it. You pinned me up against a wall the last time we met. I don't get that now. I clear my throat, quirking my brow as he stands and turns to face me, effortlessly graceful. Oh, he looks really cute from this angle. Okay, yeah. There are no walls for you to pin me against out here. How will you cope? His golden eyes shine in the darkness, and he offers me a sheepish glance.
When good people are getting brutally murdered, my instincts tend to get the better of me. But I apologize again. I'll do anything you require for you to feel comfortable around me.
Throw me up against a wall! I'm so sorry! Oh god, that was awful, I'm sorry. I'll never do that again. I'm gonna do that constantly. I'm gonna be doing that all throughout this game, I'm so sorry. No mind reading? He shakes his head quickly.
No mind reading, unless you ask, of course. Or unless you have any particularly loud thoughts. Then I'm afraid there's not much I can do to help it.
A smirk hooks the corner of his mouth, and he offers me his iron hand, switching to his flesh one when I throw him a curious look.
Both are just as cold as the other, unfortunately.
Truce? I shrug heartily and shiver as his cold skin meets my warm, his handshake firm. Truce. I really need to have a look around. I sensed something near where the body was found the night after I arrived. He pauses, looking as though he's trying to decide if he should say something that he's thinking.
There's definitely a strange energy here. Stranger than usual, anyway. But I can help you, if you wish. I mean, if you wanted an immortal opinion.
How exactly can you help me? He huffs a quiet laugh and folds his arms across his chest.
Would an excellent sense of smell and the ability to see things your human eyes cannot be of use?
Probably. I feign disinterest with a playful roll of my eyes as he waits for my response. I suppose I shouldn't dismiss any help, but how do I know that you're not the thing committing these horrible crimes? I've been told to trust no one more times than I can count. So tell me, Finn, why should I trust you? He offers me a wry smile, but sadness lingers in his gaze.
Freedom.
Freedom? He nods again, taking another deep, unnecessary breath.
I've been trying to become a better man since the day I died. My sire was a cruel man, a tyrant. Being around that for centuries does something to you.
Where's your sire now? He swallows thickly, rubbing the back of his neck. It's almost a nervous gesture, and the first time I've seen him do anything that looked remotely human or graceless. Dead. Killed by your Lieutenant General. I owe Harry my life. He freed me from Levi's shackles. He pauses, head tilted towards the night sky, and he closes his eyes. A smile crosses his lips. Something wicked.
I've done terrible things in my time, and I intend to pay penance for those for the rest of my days. Which, if you hadn't heard, is forever.
There are so many things I long to ask him. He's seen so much, done so much, and I assume lost so much.
So, to answer your question, I value doing the right thing above all else, even if sometimes I tend to stumble a little. Metaphorically, of course.
Of course. I offer him a wry smile, watching him watch me. Of course we would like to spend some time with you. Maybe or maybe not, pinned up against a wall. I'd be lying if I said that I'm not curious to get to know him a little better. Spending some time with you wouldn't be so terrible, I suppose. He looks taken aback by my statement, but he recovers in record time. A smirk that I've come to learn is quintessentially Finn crossing his lips. A smirk that has my cheeks heating.
You suppose?
I step closer, his gaze burning into mine, and I feel a shiver roll down my spine, the hairs on the back of my neck standing to attention. He notices. Are you cold? He's teasing me, so I decide to play along. Freezing. He makes a quiet little noise. One I think I could become quite fond of hearing.
Unfortunately, I can't warm you up. I am quite dead, you know.
Don't say. I was gonna, but we could have some fun trying. Oh god, I'm just sexually harassing this man. Oh, I'm so sorry, Finn. I'm so sorry. I raise my brow at him, unable to stop the smile that spreads across my lips. Really? I didn't notice. The fangs and deathly pale skin are ever so subtle. He pokes the point of one of his fangs with the tip of his tongue before he speaks. I find myself watching the movement quite intently.
I don't think I've ever been called subtle before.
Well, there's a first for everything. Jinx! Jinx, Camille, we are synchronized! Well, there's a first time for everything. He narrows his gaze, apparently contemplating his next sentence quite carefully.
You're different, aren't you? I like different.
Hey, we're in. I clear my throat, snapping myself out of this little daze I appear to have lulled myself into. We should... He smiles, wider this time. He's handsome bathed in the moonlight, even more so than I'm too flustered. He smiles, wider this time. He's handsome bathed in the moonlight, even more so than in the artificial light of the shop. It's distracting. He's apparently quite distracted himself, and he clears his throat before he next speaks. Yes, we should. I brush past him, a little closer than necessary, and another shiver overtakes me as I feel his cool skin against my own. I head for the crime scene, hyper aware of him following close behind, knowing his gaze is burning into me. We stop at the charred patch of grass, Finn bending to pick up one of the bloodied shards of the shattered gravestone. He brings it to his nose and glances at me before he gives it a sniff. He's apparently quite repulsed by whatever scent he's picked up, and he hands me the stone, wiping his hands off on his trousers.
I suggest you keep that. That's not something I've experienced before, and I've smelled a lot of different things in my time. It seems off. If it's from a creature, It's certainly not one I've come across in my 600 years.
Okay, something new. I throw him an accusatory glance before I turn my attention back to what he's handed me. I put it in my pocket for safekeeping. You can't pick up anything at all? So that means it isn't the victim's blood. He shakes his head. Definitely not his. Well, here goes nothing. I do exactly as I did last time, closing my eyes and concentrating, pouring all of my energy into seeking out that lingering memory. It's just as I remember. Painful, loud, and I almost can't bear it as a deep, scared voice echoes in my mind. Leave while you still can. I feel a force pushing at me, but it's weak and nothing I can't handle, so I fight it and hold my ground. It's not hostile, but panicked. It's trying to tell me to go, to get out, to run. That just makes me want to stay all the more. I hear Finn saying my name, but it's distant. Almost as if I'm underwater. I want to help. Tell me how. Who did this to you? No help. Just death. You can't stop them. I tried. I failed. The voice quickly disappears, and all I'm left with are more questions. I open my eyes to find Finn crouched before me, his eyes wide, concern etched on his handsome face.
Are you okay? What was that? I wasn't listening, I swear it, but I couldn't block it out. He was just so loud.
I exhale sharply, shaking my head and taking his hand as he offers it to help me stand. I fall against him and he catches me with fluid grace. It was the hunter. It must have been. What did you hear? He pauses, frowning and tightening his grip on me. Nothing coherent, just noise, but it was intense. That's never happened before. What do you mean? I mean, I feel things, I hear things sometimes too, but I've never directly spoken to a spirit like that before. At least, that's what I think it was. I should go and find August. He seems reluctant to let me go, a stitch in his brow as he looks at me. Are you sure you're okay? I nod, regretting it immediately as a wave of dizziness overtakes me.
I've got you. You need to go and seek out Ezra. He can help you, trust me. He's good with weird shit like this.
I contemplate heading back to see August, but I suspect they wouldn't appreciate me disturbing them at this hour with a little more than a ghost story. You're right, I'll head for his shop immediately. Finn nods, still watching me and holding me close. Head straight there. Promise me? I place my hands on his chest, and Finn holds my arms as I try to steady myself. I will. Thank you, Finn. I chase his touch as we break apart, his cool fingertips feeling so soothing against my skin. If you need me, don't hesitate to come and find me. Ezra can tell you how to get me. I swallow thickly, nodding and trying to shake myself free of this haze. I will. I swear it. He turns and heads for the forest, casting a final lingering glance at me over his shoulder before he disappears into the darkness. Now I need to find Ezra, and fast. I hurry to the shop, still unsteady on my feet, and my mind is reeling. What the hell is going on in this town? I round the corner and see that the lantern outside the shop is dark. I didn't realize how late it had gotten, and I can only hope he's home. I knock on the door and hear a loud crash, quickly followed by footsteps. Hello, Omen. Hi there. The door creaks open slowly, and a face that definitely isn't Ezra's appears. I'm taken aback by the sight of Omen, his eyes wide as he stares at me. Are you supposed to be in there, Omen? He blinks, and a moment later he smiles, full of sheepish remorse. That answers my question, though it's difficult to even work up any annoyance if he's actually trespassing. Is he influencing me with his powers? Or is his human face just that cute? He is pretty cute. Oh, I can't remember what this guy's voice was. It was American, I can remember that. Yes, I'm maybe kind of living here right now? Oh, really? He smiles shyly, his ears twitching, and he looks away for a moment. Is Ezra here? He shakes his head, opening the door a little more.
No, he went out. He said he wouldn't be long, but I don't know when he'll be back.
Okay. His eyes widen a little more, as if he's remembered something. Sorry, would you like to come in? I contemplate rushing off to continue my search for Ezra, but I would be stupid to miss a chance to find out a little more about this curious demon. I'd love to, but just for a moment. There's a neat little pile of cushions arranged on the rug in the middle of the shop, and a handful of empty wrappers that I can only assume were once filled with treats. Omen rushes to pick them up and scrunches them into a ball as if he's trying to get rid of the evidence. His tail sways mindlessly as he sticks them in a small bin hidden behind the counter. He seems oddly at home here, so I assume he's telling the truth about staying here often. You look exhausted. Have you been busy today? I laugh quietly, rubbing my temple, my head continuing to thrum. Very busy, yes. He nods, picking up a lightly glowing blue crystal that sits on one of the displays. He fiddles with it nervously. Can I ask you a few questions? I suppose, yes. I might not be able to answer much, though. Why? He grimaces.
I try to stay out of things around here. The humans don't like me very much.
Aww. Because you're a demon? His mouth twists into something that looks like it's trying, and very much failing, to be a smile. Something like that. I suppose that's fair. It's not every day you see a demon like him walking down the street, even these days. He's well glamoured, but he's still quite obviously inhuman. In a town like this, especially one so small, I imagine he's quite an unnerving presence. And that isn't even taking into consideration what the murders and unanswered mysteries might have done to the townsfolk's nerves. Ask about the murders, ask about himself. Ooh, Again, I hope I can ask both of these. Ooh, we didn't get as much information as Camille would have liked from the Woodridge twins, so I think I'm going to ask about the murders. Do you know much about the recent murders? Omen passively looks out the window, a sad look crossing his face.
I know that the humans are upset, and that the ones who were killed were hunters. Ezra is tired all the time, and Finn visits him less. Alcar is distant.
He sighs, a knot forming between his brows.
Everything is so different lately. I don't like it.
His eyes light up as he turns to look at me.
But now you're here. A solution. A fresh start.
Eventually, Omen shrugs. The wind changes. Perhaps towards shore this time? And he smiles at me, full of optimism and faith. His trust is almost sweet, but I can't in good conscience lie to him. I hope so, Omen, but it might take me a little while. Right, yes, I understand that. And care to tell me more about yourself, mate? I don't know much about you. Where are you from? And how long have you been here in Lunaris? His eyes widen, his pupils dilating, and I see the slightest hint of crimson flickering in chestnut brown.
I've been here about 2 years. Time passes differently here for me, so it's hard to know for sure. You'd have to ask Ezra, he'd know.
Okay. I don't miss the way he so tactfully ignored my question about his origins, but I decide not to press him if he's giving me something. Yet. How did you meet Ezra? He lights up at that question.
I met him the day I arrived in Lunaris. He was the first person I saw, and he took me in without question when I was in need of shelter.
Ezra seems like the goodest of boys. He really does. Ezra is very kind, isn't he? He nods enthusiastically. He is quite wonderful. Everyone thinks so. Well? He fidgets, dropping his gaze to his hands, fingers toying with the blue crystal again. The General, August, they don't like him very much, and that makes Ezra sad. Do you know why? He shakes his head, biting his lip. No, I didn't want to ask, but Finn says they've known each other a very long time.
Ezra has been very, very kind to me. I don't want to pry, not about things that might hurt to say or to hear.
I nod slowly. It's hard to argue with that, I suppose. He fidgets where he stands, his eyes flickering to the curtain that hides Ezra's living area. Can I show you something? Of course you can. One moment. He dashes through the curtain that separates the front of the shop with the back, reappearing within seconds clutching a weathered notebook. Here, I keep notes on things I find interesting, mostly humans, but also Finn, Alcar, Ezra. He trails off, looking wistful.
I thought maybe this could help you. If you need to know stuff about certain people, I might have something here.
Thank you. Go on, all of the flirting. You said you write about things that you find interesting?
That's right. Anything that intrigues me, I guess. Sometimes things I don't understand, so I can ask someone later. Human things, mostly.
I smile, enamored. He's so wonderfully curious. It's a nice break from the doom and gloom that the others I've spoken to have been emanating. Is there anything about me in there? He stutters, holding the book a little tighter. I'm gonna take that as a yes. Oh, maybe? I raise an eyebrow at him and he shyly drops his gaze.
Yes. Yes, there is.
My smile grows exponentially, and Omen smiles in return. The colour in his cheeks is almost matching his shirt. What did you write about me? His tail sways back and forth enthusiastically, curling around his leg.
You're really putting me on the spot, huh?
Oh, now I feel a little bit unfair. Camille, you might want to back off. As long as it's nice, I don't mind. I offer him a wink.
Oh, it's very nice. Trust me.
I sigh dramatically, watching him watch me. I have a feeling there'll be more notes in his book by this evening. Well, I guess I'll have to trust you if you're not going to show me. Never say never, Camille. I feel a sudden twang of pain in my temple again. The sensation is unpleasant and it burns. Camille, are you okay? Omen rushes to my side, the notebook forgotten upon the counter. He reaches for me, but he's hesitant. I can feel an impossible warmth radiating off his palms, but he withdraws his hands before he touches me. I'm fine, I really need to find Ezra. Do you have any idea where he could be?
I don't know for sure, but he usually goes to the market or the tavern. Maybe even the catacombs.
The catacombs? He nods, leaning closer.
Yes, that's where the vampires are.
He presses his finger to his lips, a human gesture that looks out of place, like he's been practicing it.
I would try the tavern first, though. He did mention he needed a drink. He likes to drink a lot of wine after a busy day.
Oh, Ezra's gonna be drunk off his arse. We need help. I'm too tipsy. Oh, great. Thank you so much, Omen. I'd better hurry. I bid him a quick farewell and head back out into the darkness. I push my way into the tavern, scanning every table for that shock of white hair, and, much to my relief, I see the friendly face I'm looking for. He's noticed me already, his hand raised as he beckons me over where he sits alone in a cozy spot in the corner. His smile is as bright and as wide as I remember, and I take a seat opposite him.
It's good to see you. I hope the town hasn't scared you off yet.
No, quite the opposite. I raise an accusatory eyebrow at him, earning a laugh. Well, even if I was scared off, I can't really go anywhere, can I? Ezra smiles softly, but he seems restless. I suppose not, no.
What's that like, being bound to do whatever you're told, by your duty?
It's lonely, I quite like it. Ooh. I think, as I've said before, when she's in work mode, Camille, she's very stoic and like, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir, all of that. But I think that's not necessarily because she loves her job, it's more because that's how she's been raised. Hunters are taken away from their families at a very young age for training. And then when they get deployed, I guess you could call it, they're then separated from their friends. Yeah, I think maybe that's also why she's a terrible flirt. She's just incredibly lonely. I contemplate his question for a moment, wondering exactly how honest I should be. Well, it is quite lonely, especially when you're torn from your previous post and dropped into a weird town full of strangers. And murders, don't forget those. He winks, a sparkle in his eyes. And murders, yes.
I'm sorry you have to endure that. Loneliness is a terrible thing, but you shall be lonely no more. We've got you now. We're here for you.
Oh, thank you. He sits a little straighter, determined. We? He rolls his eyes playfully with a hand placed over his heart.
You wound me. yourself and Finn and Piper and, well, maybe even August, if you're lucky.
If I'm lucky indeed. I laugh as Ezra grimaces at that thought.
You have people here. Some might be undead or just plain stubborn, but you have us.
Thank you, Ezra. That means a lot. He shrugs it off, running his finger around the rim of his wine glass.
We've all been lonely at some point. Some of us will always be lonely, even surrounded by people. But if there's the smallest chance that you can quell that with some good company, then you should take it.
He looks up at me, and I wonder how such a human exists. He's kind, impossibly so, and I find it very hard to believe it could ever be an act. So, you have friends here, Camille. The barmaid comes over and rolls her eyes, hand on her hip as she addresses me rather curtly. Drink. I'll have what he's having. I'll take a whiskey. Ale, please, just what will do. Camille's a whiskey drinker. I can think of nothing more soothing than something spicy, sweet. Whiskey, please. Neat. She turns and wanders off with yet another roll of her eyes, and Ezra poorly stifles a laugh. Don't take it personally. That's Edna. She's notoriously, short. I grimace, and as she returns with my glass of whiskey, I nod politely. Thank you, Edna. Edna grunts, turning on her heel and throwing me a dismissive wave over her shoulder. Case in point. I eye the deep amber liquid in my glass, savouring the rich smell before I bring it to my lips and take a sip. It may burn as it trickles down my throat, but it's soothing and delicious. Are you okay? You seem tense. I was actually looking for you. I need to tell you something, but I need you to promise me you won't think I'm crazy.
You're talking to someone who lives in Lunaris. Try me.
I take a deep breath and edge closer, checking no one else is listening. I visited the graveyard after I left your shop yesterday to see the crime scene. I tried to get a feel for what happened there that night. Ezra leans in, his eyes wide. And? I didn't really get much other than an overwhelming sense of loss, which is, well, quite normal considering the circumstances. People tend to feel such emotions when they're dying. But tonight I went back. Finn was there too, and I felt something different. Different how exactly? I huff a laugh, knowing how ridiculous this sounds. I heard him. The hunter, the one who died, he spoke to me. Ezra's gaze darts around the tavern, and he sits back in his chair, running a hand through his hair. He wipes the look of shock off his face quickly, putting himself to rights. His voice is low when he next speaks, barely a whisper. You're sure? It was him? I nod. Positive. He told me to leave and that there's no hope in helping. Ezra leans forward again, pushing his wine glass aside, placing his hand upon the table. His fingers are visibly twitching. Of course we're going to take his hand, of course we are. I mirror his movement and place my hand upon the table beside his, shamelessly needing comfort and contact. Ezra doesn't hesitate to take it in his own, his skin warm and soft as he squeezes it tightly. It's going to be okay. We'll figure this out together. I exhale sharply, feeling like I've been holding my breath ever since I left that graveyard. Thank you, Ezra. I don't know what I'd do without you, and I've only known you for a few days.
It's okay. I'm used to taking care of people. It's my thing, I suppose. Besides, you're delightful. It's not like it's a chore.
He softens his expression and starts drawing gentle, soothing circles on the back of my hand with his thumb. His cheeks darken slightly, and everything about him is impossibly enchanting. I'm glad you're okay, Camille. I'm here for you, always. I'm more grateful than you'll ever know for that. Another squeeze of my hand, and we part reluctantly. Oh, he really does look beautiful in that shot. Like the lighting and his eyes, just chef's kiss. So, what now? He curls his fingers around the stem of his glass and sighs deeply.
I don't even know how to unpack this, but I do know that you need to rest. How's your head feeling?
I sigh, pushing my whiskey aside. Still hurting. Ezra fishes around in the pouch that's attached to his belt, retrieving a small vial full of what looks like a strange herb or flower. Here, crush this into some boiling water and it should help with the headache. It's just some feverfew and butterbur, completely natural, I promise. I take the vial and tuck it safely in my pocket. Do you have a pharmacy in there? He laughs softly, shaking his head. What kind of witch would I be if I didn't carry around a cure for a migraine? I should head back to the shop. I left Omen unattended with the kitchen cupboard unlocked. He'll eat me out of house and home. I did check there before I came here. He'd gotten into the sweets. Shit. And that's definitely my cue to leave.
Whatever you experience today will still have happened tomorrow. I know what you hunters are like. No matter how scary August is, your report can wait until tomorrow.
But what if there's a murder in the middle of the night? I smile up at him as he stands to leave. I promise. I'm drained. I need my bed more than ever right now. Plus, I need to decide how to put all of this into words. This has changed everything for me, hasn't it? Yes, I'm afraid it did. Just... He sighs deeply, resting a hand upon my shoulder.
Be mindful of who you share this information with, okay? There are eyes and ears everywhere.
Good night, Camille. Good night, Ezra. I stare out of the window and I spot the first snowflakes falling from a star-dusted sky. Winter has arrived in Lunaris. My headache is persistent as I lay in bed, but nothing can possibly stop me from falling asleep after the day I've had. I finish the tea that I made with the flowers Ezra gave me, hoping that it begins to take effect. I close my eyes, but just before I drift off, a distant whisper. My name was James. Zoma. He's lost, but feels at home at the same time. This place he's become so familiar with, terrifying but beautiful. His shirt sticks to his back, blood and ichor thick as it coats his skin and trickles down his spine. As the gravel crunches beneath his feet, he idly wonders how long he can keep up his glamour. None of the humans that he passes bother to offer him a second glance. But if they saw him for what he really is, his true form, Gazar, He picks up his pace, sweat beading upon his brow as he pushes forward, the pain getting a little too much to bear, flames hot beneath his skin. He's never felt the scrape of his own claws before, and he suddenly feels sorry for any foe he's cut down. The sting that lingers in their wake is unforgiving. The scent of magic is thick as he rounds the corner, the soft blue of the mage-light lantern that glimmers in the growing darkness calling out to him like a beacon. He grips the cool metal handle and pushes inside, the scent of something sweet welcoming him. Oh, hello there. He looks around and finds a human waiting patiently, a witch by the smell of him, one with kind eyes. Omen frowns, not quite able to find the words he needs, his eyes watering from the incessant sting that continues to worsen. He winces as he moves his arm carefully, not wanting to startle the human. "You're injured." The words he hears are foreign, and he can't bear it anymore. Needs relief, a potion, anything to stop this searing pain. He twists, clawing at his shirt and revealing the damage, hoping the human can understand what he needs. The human is cautious as he steps forward, a faint glow kissing the tips of his long fingers. Omen tenses. "Injured, hurt, heal. No! Ray! No!" The human blinks, withdrawing his touch. He pauses, shakes his head, hushing him, and the noise is soothing. "Stop panicking, I'm trying to help you. Yachts? No, that's not it." He huffs, brow furrowed, but then he smiles. Yours. Calm." Omen nods and takes a breath, and he lets the human look. "This symbol, well, shit. You don't need healing at all, do you?" Omen closes his eyes, drops his head in shame, sensing the human's apprehension. Before he can change his mind and flee, the human is muttering to himself, gathering supplies from various shelves and cubbyholes. He carefully peels Omen's shirt the rest of the way off, guiding him to sit on a rickety old chair. He places a hand upon his shoulder, meeting his gaze with startling green eyes. "I'm going to clean this, okay? Sad?" Omen smiles, nods, the sound of his language more comforting than this human could ever know. "You did this to yourself, didn't you?" Omen understands this, and he nods again, flinching, as Ezra presses a warm, wet cloth to his wounds. Yes. "My name is Ezra. What's yours?" Omen bites his bottom lip, looking over his shoulder, Ezra's hands working quickly to clean his wound. "Omen." Ezra smiles, wrapping cloth over the cuts. "That's a nice name." He helps Omen back into his shirt, and with a click of his fingers, it's clean, free from any traces of ghastly black blood. He disappears for a second, returning with a small glass cup filled with a thick green liquid. The smell is pungent but strangely appetizing. This will help with the pain. Omen takes the cup, curling clawed fingers around the delicate glass, and he drinks greedily, nose crinkling at the rancid taste, earning a laugh from Ezra. He feels infinitely better the second he's finished. "Thank you." Ezra smiles, taking the cup from him. "Would you like to stay here tonight? It's safe. Zoma." Omen can't help but feel touched by his offer, and before he's even said yes, Ezra is rushing off, returning with a pile of blankets. "Here. Zoma." And I do believe that was the end of chapter 2. Oh, I really like that chapter. I'm very intrigued to see where this goes. Okay, in the next episode, will Camille give her report to August? Has there been another murder in the night? Who knows? But until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below. And if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.